Awards, and it was something to see. It was people were really looking forward to that. I mean, after the strike, and hello, for those of you who might not know, I am Dr. Mother Love, your hostess, your awesome talk show hostess. And, it seems like everybody wants to get back to normal. And, the Emmys was their way of getting back to normal because they're usually held in September. I didn't think they were going to have them at all this year because of the strike with the writers and with our union SAG-AFTRA. That was a hard thing to go through coming out of the pandemic, and then you got to go on strike because the producers and the studios want to have all control over your name, image, and likeness, and they want AI and all this other stuff. But we held the line. They told the road. I was out there on the picket line with you all in spirit. I have a compromised immune system, and being outside, I take this medication. Well, all that's not neither here nor there. It's just I'm glad to see. I don't want us to go back. Let us be in the present and go forward in the future. We work in a crazy business called the entertainment industry. And you see the feast or family, you're doing way up at the top, or you way down at the bottom. There's rarely any middle. Well, no, there's middle ground because most of the people that work in the entertainment industry, they know what they're doing. They're trained professionals, and they ought to be compensated for what we're worth. And you can't say, the studios can't say, oh, well, we don't think you're worth anything, but we just want to use your name, image, and likeness. And we're like, that sounds kind of stupid. We're not going to do that. And on the picket line we went. You have to be able to stand up and believe in something. And my fellow SAG-AFTRA members and my friends who are in the Writers Guild, I am just always so proud of you and the way that you just got right back into it, like it didn't miss a step. And everybody missed their cast and their crews. And it was a pretty devastating blow to all of us. I remember hearing this story, and I don't know if it was true. I'm just saying it because some people sound like, I know some people that would say something like that when they said, oh, ain't nobody thinking about them, the SAG-AFTRA people on strike or the writers on strike. Oh, wait, we can't get programming if the writers are on strike. We have to go to talk shows, and we got to go to reality shows, and we got to go to game shows. And they were looking for every kind of way to keep us entertained, to keep us close to the television, close to our internet, close to our mobile devices, so that we could continue to get programming. I mean, it was really bad. Let's just be honest. And people were closing up shop. People that were part of the entertainment industry, not necessarily in front or behind the camera. The people who relied on us for that we got craft services from, the people who were caterers, the truck drivers, the limo drivers, all this affected everybody. This kids that's on sets, the school teachers that had taken that were up, because when you got kids on a set, they got to have a school teacher and a nurse or a doctor on set. Period. I did not know this until I learned a lot since I've been in this business, and since I've come to California, I've learned a lot. I didn't know the kids that when they did, like with the we knew who the Olsen twins were, and and there was just one baby in the show, and I found out that when they're twins, they look for identical twins because you never know if this baby is going to be fussy this day or this one's going to, be temperamental. You just never know, and that affected everybody. That affected the medical profession. That affected people who could not get to work. It was just like coming at us from all sides. And I believe, and this is just me, Mother Love. When I was telling you about the producers who say, we could wait them out, big deal. When they mortgages start getting behind, when they behind on their rent, they will break and they will come back and they will come to work with whatever we decide to, piecemeal them out. And people said no. They said no. People would bringing food, they were bringing water, they were bringing blankets, and making sure that they knew that we were on their side. They knew, and we knew that you were on our side, and we knew that you would look out for us, and you did. And I thank everybody. This has been a long time coming too. And I'm sure I said it before when the strike was over, but it bodes repeating because it shows you how strong we are as a union, how strong the Writers Guild is as a union. Now, you just take that same kind of mentality and you put it into another workplace. I mean, I understand that Trader Joe's, their employees are fighting to get to be unionized. And Trader Joe's is, pushing back, pushing back, pushing back. No, no, no. Or they want union busting. So does Starbucks, because they know we got power in numbers. And when you saw it, and you see it, it is so great to see my fellow thespians. Can I call myself a thespian? Sure, I can. I've been in movies and on television. I want to send out a big, big shout out to all of the people who were involved in the Emmy Awards and putting the soiree together, the ceremony. Okay, it's not a soiree, it is a soiree. Putting together the ceremony. Anthony Anderson, he is an awesome host. It was good to see him. And all the people that were nominated. Congratulations to all of you, each and every one of you, and congratulations to the winners. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of like I'm not really on the fence about the award ceremonies. I mean, because if you don't pat yourself on the back, who's gonna pat you on the back? I'm just asking. These are just questions. So they always say, don't toot your own horn. You toot your horn. You toot your horn and you go out there and you show them that you got your big boy underwear on, your big girl panties, and you ready to be in this game and have skin in it. I want to give a special, special shout out to Abbott Elementary. I fell in love with Quinta Brunson and every one of the characters. Cheryl Lee Ralph character, she is just so subtle and so beautiful, and she is getting her due. More, she ought to have gotten more, because she's always been brilliant in the business. I met her, I worked with her, I've been at her house, I know the kind of woman that she is, and she just, I was so proud of the speech she gave when she was saying to other little girls and brown girls and browner girls that you need to know that you are enough. You got to know that you are enough. You got to know when you believe that you can do a thing, you know what? You will be successful in doing that thing. Sure, you will. And if you say, I don't think I can do that, it's going to be too much. You know what? You're right. You're right either way. You're right if you do it. You're right if you don't. Because if you don't think you can do it, you won't. You have to believe first. And these actors and actresses and directors and producers, and I know some of the people on here. Shirley Ralph, I know, and congratulations to her. She got an outstanding supporting actress in a comedy, and so did Tyler. For those of you who are under a rock and have not seen Abbott in Elementary, he played Everybody Hates Chris. He was Chris. Congratulations to all of them. Congratulations to Paris Barkley for his directing nomination. For those of you who don't know, read the credits on some of the 17 things and you'll see Paris Barkley's name. What a very nice man. He was very nice and very kind to me. And contrary to popular belief, the majority of us in this industry are really cool people. They really are cool people. It's your transplants that come to California, come to LA, and you want to tell everybody how phony and superficial and hypocritical and and they smelling themselves. And you hear about, what's her name, Mariah Carey? She like bringing her own linen. I don't blame you. You don't know what's been on them sheets. You don't know if they got changed that day or just their housekeeping stretched the wrinkles out real good and made it look like it. My husband got, when we travel, and I thought that was kind of weird at first. When we travel, he has this wand that's about maybe this big. We got a long one and we got a short one, and it's a wand. And to pull the covers back, but first he wands them over to the bedspread and the comforter, and it finds lice and bed bugs. And I would never went into the bug field, period. When I like bugs, it was like for a bee's, I think it's a bee's life. It's animated. I'm not a good bug person. I'm not living with varmints and worms and maggots and roaches. Unless they're helping to pay the rent in the house, nope, out. I'm just not going to do it. And when Okay, so I was telling you about the Emmys. Are they really still important? Is it important that we recognize those who are, working? And are you working to get an Emmy? Are you working to put out good material? Funny if you're doing fun. And let me tell you something. When they first said, and I don't know if you all know this, ABC had canceled Abbott Elementary. Remember that? Said, okay, that's it. We're not getting the numbers. And the next thing you know, they're getting nominated. Ha! You never thought about, they gave them a pickup notice so fast it wasn't even funny. But that's the way the business works. It's a hurry up and wait industry. You're waiting on your turn. And if you don't want to wait on your turn, you make your turn. And it's a season for everybody. There's a reason why you work in this industry. There's a reason why you're a grip. There's a reason why you're a gaffer. There's a reason why you're a Foley person. And I found out what Foley people do. They make the natural sounds in an unnatural way. Like if somebody's a scene and they're walking through leaves, they're crunching up the leaves. Or if they're walking, I saw them do aluminum foil. They bought up aluminum foil, and the people started, and it was the exact same noise, the exact same sound. It was wonderful just to watch them make magic out of, really out of the thin air. Snow, when people are walking in the snow, we can't hear it, but they can make us hear it. They can make us hear snow, people walking in the snow. And everybody has a position. Some people get a little carried away with their position, and they, well, I am queen crap on Turd Island and you are going to bow down to me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, right. Really? Really? And some of them can be really, really crappy. There was this chick one time, and she'll just be nameless. She was in the fitness industry. And she had come on to the show. Y'all gonna figure it out in a minute anyway. She came on to the show, and I was on the show on a regular basis for the most part. And she came, and she had written a book on exercise and nutrition, and all the healthy things. And she came up to me and said, I cannot believe that. I think you're just being a phony. There's no way you can be that happy in that big fat body of yours. And she said it nasty like that. And I went, oh, it's going to be that kind of party. And I said, you know what you pissed off about me? Because I am comfortable in this big fat body. And you had to go through hell and high water to get your little narrow behind down to that small. You had this picture that you were passing around, coming in and said, this was my before picture and this is my after picture. Come to find out, she was exploiting her sister who had special needs, and that was a picture of her. And she said, and it wasn't really clear if that was on her face, and she said, well, that was me before I lost weight. But then after she lost weight and she got into her nutrition, she had a little tiny, tight body. Bully for you. But when this chick came up to me and said, there's no way you could be happy in that big fat body. And I was like, okay. And my husband happened to be walking down the hallway, and he must have saw my gesture or something, because he was walking up behind me. He walked up behind me. See, this is when you and your mate, you have your own language, you have your own body signals. My body signal, when he I'm getting ready to go clean off on a mofo. That wasn't a whole cuss word. Okay, I put 250 in the cuss jar. He just walked up behind me. He put his hand in the small of my back with a little pressure to move me over to my dressing room. And her dressing room was across from mine. And I had a swank dressing room. Oh my God, they spoiled me rotten. You'd have thought I was one of the stars on this show. Okay, I was, but I didn't. So he gently guided me back into my dressing room. And I was like, you just saved her from a witch slap with a capital B. You know that, right? He said, I saw you. And I must have leaned to the side on one leg, on my head must have got the bobbing, and I'm finna slap the cowboy crap out of this. She done lost our rabbit mind. So then she's walking to her dressing room, and I'm walking to my dressing room at the same time. She says because each one of us, when you're a guest on somebody's show, they give you a handler, somebody who takes care of your, they're like your personal assistant while you're on the show. Love it. Oh my God. And so We walking out. We can't see. God don't like ugly. We coming out the door out of our dressing rooms at the same time. I'm coming out on the left. She's coming out on the right. She sees me. I'm like maybe a half a step ahead of her. She steps up and she gets in front of me and she's walking backwards toward the studio. And she goes, "I don't want you in the hallway when I'm coming out of my room." I went, "Oh, now she done lost what's left." She trying to start a fight, and I am not a violent person. I truly am not. I'm all about love. I'm mother love. Let me love you to pieces. Let me love you with kindness. I don't need to have all that funky attitude coming up in here. And she had the people on set. They walking on, I'm like, what y'all grown people? What's wrong with y'all? I could pick her up and whoop everybody behind with this little narrow chick with her one bone body self. And they were just cracking up and everything. She comes out to the executive producer and says to him, either you get rid of that fat bitch or I'm sorry, that's $10 in the cuss jar, my bad. And I don't use that term lightly. But that's what she said to him. And she said it loud enough. She said it loud enough for people in the audience to hear what she said. And they got to groaning and moaning. And she goes, either she goes or I go. He told her, her handler, get her stuff. She got to go. I'm a guest on the show. He said, not anymore and not ever will you be on the show again. Please escort her out to her. Matter of fact, just escort her out of the building. Send another runner to pack up her dressing room. I mean, you don't just talk to people any kind of way. And there are some people in this business who have really, really funky attitudes. And she had a really, really funky attitude. I think she was just upset with herself and she could not deal with I think she was a divorced single mother. She could not handle the fact that this big black woman had a black fine husband who just loves all over me. He don't care who sees him kissing me. He don't care. And I keep telling, you are so mannish. We are in public. There's nothing on my, and he got this move. This is the husband move. He's standing in front of me. He don't fool me, even though I do like it. It never gets old. He'll stand in front of me and he'll just start doing this on my chest. I'm like, I didn't even eat anything. Why you just want to fill me up in public? And he just give me that little slice. I'm like with the look, and he goes, because I can, because you my wife. And I just ain't gonna be touching on you like this. I mean, what do you mean? I'm not gonna let anybody touch on me like that. Are you kidding? That's when he took my knife. Well, one of them, because I will nick you. Don't get up close on me and don't see when I get mad, and I get angry, it's people like that. When you see them, you can see it well enough. You can see it well enough. You can see it well enough. And it was well enough. And when that executive producer told her, and so the host of the show, after she was escorted out, whole audience, we have not seen hide nor hair of her. See, you don't fool with the mother love. I don't have to do anything vindictive. I don't have to do anything, snide or hateful. This was the straw that broke the camel's back is when the executive producer told her, pack up your room. Matter of fact, I sent a runner to pack up your room. I want you off the premises ASAP. And I was like, oh. And the fact that he stood up for me. And he really didn't have to stand up for me because I'd have slapped her into the middle of next week, stopped on Thursday and get to slapping her again into the next week. And I don't want to be like that. I'm a peaceful person. And I don't anger easy. I really don't. I wear it light. I crept on. And this was many years ago. This is before I became the calm and, the demure. I'm lying through my teeth. But this was a long time ago. And I was, and the beauty of it was I had come here to LA with a contract already. So I would, and I'm making a name for myself. And, the program director at the radio station, they're loving me and the numbers are going up. And so I'm doing a thing. And she was telling people, she's very difficult to work with. I thought I was going to have to storm off the stage because of her. I'm like, you didn't even have to do no storming. They put your narrow behind out. And then when he found out, this was it. This was it. She was doing a book signing and she had people line up And single file line, I ain't got a problem with that. I've done book signings, and people do get kind of crazy in the book signing line. They do. I've seen them, ladies with walkers run over people. You see, I'm on a walker. Give me that number. Give me that. I need to get the mother. I'm like, this is not about it. This ain't no duel. It's all right. So I'm diligently standing in the line, waiting my turn. She went to autograph the book, and she went on the autograph it with her name. I said, could you put it to Mother Love from so and so and such and such? And she's like, oh, no, you'll get it just like everybody else. And she threw the book at me. I let it hit the floor. And stepped on it and walked across. And I said, Mama, I am so sorry. I was never under any circumstances supposed to desecrate a book because, knowledge is in the book. It didn't matter if I liked her or didn't like her or whatever. And that was, people always say, well, you always good. Y'all don't even know there are people. I told you I don't have skeletons in my clothes. No, you open up my love. Girl, let me tell you what happened in 1972. I was there during the storm, and my love just got up there and she just cut up. Oh, wait a minute. I remember when we was in elementary school, and I know they remember me from elementary school because when you're in elementary school, they call you by your whole government name. And when you knew you was in trouble, when your parents, your guardian called your whole government name, and you could hear them yelling for you I don't know if they ever yelled for us, but they didn't call it yelling. They called it summoning. I'm summoning you home from out of the playground. It's time to come home and wash for, dinner. Remember when we used to wash up for supper and came home and took off our school clothes? Now you could go to school looking like a ragamuffin, like you just rolled out the bed. You got your jeans on. They don't know what ironing is. I went to our granddaughters are in cheer. And so, they had the little outfits and everything, the whole 9 yards. And they needed they were doing something and they needed some white blouses. So get the white blouses and, take them out the package and they go to put them on. I said, no, let's iron it. And they go, what's an iron? I'm like, this, and they didn't know what the ironing board was for. So I put up, and I got one of those heavy duty, ironing boards. My husband and I still iron, and our son irons. That's why I was like, I couldn't believe that they didn't know what ironing was. And I said, well, did you teach your kids how to iron? He said, they're big enough to learn how to iron. So you got to show them how to iron. You got to show them. And so I said, come on, show you how to iron you, and got all the wrinkles out. Oh, they thought they was just so cute because they were. And they still don't iron their clothes for the most part. And the fabric manufacturers make clothes that don't even wrinkle. Those are the kind I want to travel with. Because you can ball them up, you can fold them up, roll them up, and you can pack a bunch of stuff when you're rolling it up. And it's a certain way that you pack. And so I taught them how to iron. And there's a lot of skill sets that are involved in the entertainment industry. I was just talking about ironing. You got your wardrobe people. They have steamers. They got ironing boards. They got little ironing boards. They got big ironing boards. They got steamers. They do not want you walking out there with a wrinkle on you. I remember one of my wardrobe stylists, I had on a shirt and it had a matching skirt. The shirt was cool, but the skirt, kept, I don't know, it didn't wrinkle like linen, because you could just be standing up in linen and it'll get wrinkled. And don't sit down because them wrinkles all around your, up in your upper thighs and the bend of your leg, we know it's linen. Anyway, she was just outdone and it was from the back. Okay, you couldn't see the front. I learned to iron in the front there unless somebody behind me. So she said, right in the walkway, she said, take that skirt off. So let me get the wrinkle. I said, it's in that back end. She gave me she started talking, get that skirt off right now. The little ones, they kind of frighten me. When they this many big, you better watch them. And I always seem to get these little people, which I don't mind because they dressed me and kept me dressed to the nines. The wardrobe people, the lunch people, the extras, the stand-ins. This hurt everybody. This hurt businesses, from the inside out. And now that everything is semi-normal, they decide, and it was really a good thing because people were like, oh my God, we still get to dress up, we still get to be acknowledged, by our peers. And that's really, what the Emmys are about, who's the best in television. And I think that I didn't even know this was a category. Uh uh the best variety reality show. I think that's right. Is that how you said the best? Whoever was RuPaul's Drag Race won. They beat out some people, and I have to say, I have only, in all fairness, I can talk about it. I'm on the peripheral on 95% of these. I'm in the circle with them because out of all these shows, I watched Ted Lasso, which was hilarious. I'm gonna have to watch Bear because I'm like, who is funnier than him? I mean, come on, really, really. And the Daily Show with Trevor Noah won for the best variety talk show. And my guy Stephen Colbert, he wasn't even nominated for outstanding talk variety. That cat makes me laugh every night. Maybe because I have a sick, twisted sense of humor like he does. But Quinta Brunson, when they called her name, and like I told you, they were going to kick her. They had canceled the show. They put out there in the magazines, variety. Okay, this show is on the bubble. This one is canceled. This one you may never see again in life. And the fact that Succession won, that was a big hitter out there. It won, and it's only got 2 seasons under their belt. And they said the next season won't come until 2025 because of the strike. And a lot of people were looking, they were putting on stuff on TV. Oh my God. This had to be the stuff that had been gathering dust on the shelves. And you go, well, we can say that we ran this program and it's out there now. And I was like, that is really cool. That's really cool. And I did not see Succession won Jesse Armstrong for outstanding writer of a drama series. And his peers have said, and even his critics have said this cat is somebody to watch. I wish I had time to watch television at night. And the only thing I stopped to do, and this is just me, because I've been doing this for my since I was probably 12 or 13 years old, watching Jeopardy. Don't call me. Don't summon me. Don't chat to me. If you think you're on your deathbed, you better die on cue. And it better be either before Jeopardy or after Jeopardy. And no, after Jeopardy and Passe Jack. I watch Jeopardy and then Passe Jack. Because some places, Passe Jack and Vanna White, I know that's not the name of the show. But that's what we call it. Passe Jack and Vanna White. Like it's all one word. We know that it's Wheel of Fortune. And I like when people with the contestants come on there, they probably weren't even born when they were big money, big money, big money. And to listen to them say that sense of nostalgia. I mean, I remember, just go on and date yourself, mother. I remember when Chuck Woolery was the host of Wheel of Fortune. He was the host. Everybody thought it was Sajak was the first one. I remember watching Jeopardy with my mother my half-hour lunchtime. Jeopardy came on at 12 o'clock. I could ease out the back door because I could like literally throw a stone from my school, from my homeroom to my back door at home. And I ease out the back door, so I had to be right there when Art Fleming was the host. And you needed to have know a little bit about a whole lot of stuff. They said jack of all trades, a master of none. My mother, God rest her soul, she was a Jeopardy champion. She could answer the question before Art Fleming got it all the way out. I mean, she knew about Greek mythology, and she knew about the planets, and she knew about things growing out the ground. And I was like, where did she learn all of that? And I knew she was an avid reader. After our father passed away, and she always read. She always had books and magazines and the Bible and the Rosicrucian and the Quran. We also, the Quran, she said, pronounce it right. And we read from all of them. She said, how are you going to know if you don't open up a book and read it? Gave me my ferocious appetite for reading. I usually read, I read all the books that everybody sent me, all the authors. I take that back. It was just 2 books since I've been interviewing and having conversations. I don't interview people, having conversations with authors. There's only been 2 books that I couldn't get past. I just couldn't get past if you don't give me in the first 10 pages, I'll read the whole book. I'll read your forward. I'll read the appendix. I'll read your glossary. I'll read it all the way to the end of the book to your acknowledgement. I will read it, and it cracks me up when authors say, "Oh, you went that far in my book." I did. I actually read the book. I read the whole book, and I am a ferocious reader. I want to learn something new, and I do learn something new every day. And that's how I continue to live my life. And I'll continue to want to continue to uplift people, because every one of these nominees, every one of the people who worked to put this on, everyone that, made a gown, that borrowed the jewelry, because they do let us wear fancy jewelry, a lot of fancy jewelry. They do. And the fact that so many women will find, it's diverse. We've come a long way from just seeing African Americans on television in a derogatory manner, but that's what they told them they could do. We had characters like Stephen Fetchit and Mr. Bojangles and Buckwheat, and in our community, we relished them. We could see how they could dance. The Mills Brothers. We see Black people, brown people, people of color. We don't have a problem like white people think we have a problem with you. We're not looking to hurt you if you come through our neighborhood. Don't hurt us. We're not looking to hurt you. My mother had the Rainbow Coalition of friends and acquaintances before Jesse Jackson. There was nothing to go into the coming home and after church and Sunday after, because we had to go to Sunday school, then you had to go to church. Then you could come home, come out your church clothes and put on your play clothes. And it was nothing we just didn't do that. One of my friends I grew up with, I thought he was Black. See, because when you think about this, racism is really just stupid, and it does not serve any of us any purpose other than to put one another down. Oh, she's Black. Oh, he's fat. Oh, she's short. Oh, he's tall. It's always you're to this or you to that, or you're, like Queen Shirley Rouse says, you are enough. You already know. I didn't get them fired. People always, whenever something jump off, they always blame it on me. I'm telling you, they always blame it. She did it. She started it. And sometimes I have started, but I feel no need to be talked to rude and disrespectfully. I find no use in that. I find no use for racism. Our mother used to tell us that this is when we was colored. She said, "Baby, you be colored when it's convenient for you. You don't ever let that stop you. And don't you ever let being a girl stop you, period." And I was like, okay. So that's what I grew up with. My mother, our mother was a very strong woman. She raised 6 children. She never remarried after our father passed away. Her mate in the bed were her books and her magazines. And she was the only woman I ever knew that had a subscription to Playboy. And I said, "Mama, don't we got the same stuff they do?" She said, "Baby, ain't nobody looking at that. Playboy has," I haven't seen one in a long time. They used to have amazing interviews and conversations with people that I would have never been exposed to had it not been in Playboy magazine. And besides Playboy, they didn't really consider that smut. Now, Hustler magazine, that was smut. And he probably will never remember this. I hope he ain't passed away. Don't let me be killed off Larry Flint. He was really a really nice guy. I remember him before he got into the wheelchair. He was really a nice guy. He treated us like, he really treated us really, really special. And I remember him telling me, "Okay, no, this isn't for you." It was a shooting for a lingerie or brassiere commercial, something where women didn't have a top on, but you had on the brassiere. And he took our pictures in a group. Then he started taking our pictures 2 by 2. Then he did individual shots. And I'm in there doing my regular, keeping it light, keeping it real, having fun. I was doing TikTok. I said TikTok because we talk to these babies. These are life-sustaining mechanisms. They are not to be fooled with, period. And so I'm in there laughing and joking. I'm telling them my chi jokes and chi funny. I can't. I know 3 jokes and I can't take. I could, but I'm not gonna. And we were in there laughing so hard. The photographer said, "Look, you got to be still, Miss Lady. You moving even when you're not talking." Because I was doing it, trying to hold it in. And every time I would say something silly, Larry Flynn would just bust out laughing. I was like, he was like, "Can you leave the room?" I'm like, "This is his magazine. Shoot, he just gonna put you out the room." Well, he put you out the room, I'm leaving too. Everybody broke up. He pulled me to the side. He said, "You know what? This is not for you. This is not for you. You need to be on stage someplace. You need to be talking to people like this." I'm talking to people like, "Well, I'm trying to explain something to you. Am I not telling you the truth, or am I not telling you the truth?" He said, "This is not what you. This is not for you." And people used to tell me that all the time. And our mother, she was the one. When she was in the house, she had a pocketbook on one arm, like she was going someplace with her house shoes on, with a duster on, and she had a towel. She always had a hand towel over her shoulder. And I didn't understand why she would always bite the towel, and I'm trying to explain something to her, and she just looking at me. And my mother had these big brown eyes and these long eyelashes, and she could just, she'd have made a great actress because she could look at you and bore a hole through the back of your head. She's not even looking at you. And you could just feel it. And she had a towel across her arm, and she'd bite it when I'm trying to tell her something. And then I didn't know what that meant. And then when she said, "Go out there and get me a switch," can she really think I'm going to go outside and it better not be a little bony one? I want an old switch. I'm like, "Oh, she got characteristics of a switch that she finna whoop my behind with." Okay. So I go out, and it's taking me too long. So to her, it was taking me too long. So she goes, "Okay, it's taking you too long. Now bring me 2 switches. Matter of fact, bring 3." And I bring the three switches in. She braids them, burns them on the tip so they don't come apart. All she had to do was whack me 2 or 3 times. I was when she hit me, and she hit me again, and she hit me again, and I'm literally on the floor. "Mama, please, mama, please, mama, please, mama, don't beat me to death with this brain switch. Please, mama, I'll be good. I won't say that no more. I won't embarrass Miss Joe in front of people. My mama, she knew how to pick not on her head. It's scared her." We were on at this time, and see some stuff that you've done with your brothers and sisters. Some stuff you don't need to tell your parents. They just don't need to know certain things about you and your siblings. And we all sitting around the table. And, I know people think it's cool when they could drink or smoke with their mother or their father or their elders and what have you. I started smoking cigarettes at 15 because my mama let our 12-year-old cousin smoke in front of her. And I was like, "She's 12. I'm a senior in high school. I'm going to start. I'm going to smoke." My mother looked at me. She said, "Fool, you don't smoke." And I will not. And I smoked for 20 years. And anyway, so and I've since given up that nasty habit. Well, after your husband tells you that kissing you is like licking a dirty ashtray, I think you kind of got to get the message up here someplace, because I like kissing him. So the dirty ashtray thing, and when you smoke, people know you smoke. We could smell it in your hair. We could smell it in your skin. Forget about your breath, because you could put all kind of mints and stuff in your mouth. One time I thought I was going to poison myself. I actually picked up a can of, I thought it was like a can of breath spray. And I picked up and it was a can of Ozium. And the little tube like this, man, that's what threw me off. And I'm like squirting it in my mouth, and they all go, and we're in a stretch limousine going to someplace real fancy. I'm like, "Oh my God. I said, I can't breathe. I can't breathe." They just looked at me like, "Okay, drama queen, you're not going to die. It's Ozium. You got to watch what you're doing." And so anyway, she hit me with the switch. And when we got older, and, like I said, we were sitting around having a good old time, just jaw jerking, reminiscing, and telling everybody, sharing a story, be the same story, the same incident, And if you ask all six of us, me and my siblings, well, I have to say my siblings because I could always start the conversation. There's a game called uh, I think they call it whispers or rumors, one of those. And it's where you get a group of people together in a circle, and one person, okay, say I started, and I whispered in your ear, and I say, Jack Sprat could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean. And then you whispered into somebody else's ear. By the time I get around to me with Jack don't even have the Sprat no more. He done divorced his wife, or she done rolled on it. They changed the whole story. Gossip, that's what it was called. It was hilarious. And so we, like I said, some things you don't need to know, and you shouldn't tell your mother. So we sitting around gossiping and jaw jerking and having our little cocktail. And so I asked my mother. I said, "So, Mama, how come you always had a towel over your shoulder, and you never took, if the only thing you did was got another towel? Why did you wear that towel?" She said, "Cause y'all was sick and twisted. You guys are so silly. I could not lose my credibility as your mother, because she was like, she strong arm of the law. When you got cussed out by my mother, you gotta have a dictionary, a Bible, a Roget's thesaurus, and some other. And then she started having us reading from other books. But those three you had to have, because she could cuss you out. I think she just called my brother out of his name, and she said, "Girl, if I did not have that towel, I'd have lost all credibility, especially with you pointing them in, because I was her problem daughter." She said, "Because you are so silly. And your sisters and brothers are silly because they laugh with you because y'all so silly. I'm not losing my credibility over y'all." And that's why after she stopped carrying a towel over her shoulder, so she would laugh, she started carrying a loaded 38. We all grew up around guns. We did. My mother she kept a loaded 38 in her pocketbook. She was a widowed woman, and she worked that night. She had 11 positions. You know how some people change jobs? Our mother, she changed positions. And when she transitioned to a junior high school teacher, I wasn't liking her about that time, because they placed her at our junior high school. And they said, "Oh, we got a new teacher. We got a new teacher." And who's walking down the hallway? My mother. I'm like, me and one of my first cousins, we are the same age in the same grade. Well, he's a little older than I am, like by 2 or 3 months. And he already, "I'm older than you. I'm your elder." I'm like, "Negro, if you don't go somewhere and sit down and pound sand, shut up talking to me." Well, one day we got into an argument, me and my cousin. Got into an argument, and you could hear my mouth all the way to the second floor. I was on the first floor, and I was calling him everything but a child of God. And he was trying to pick me up and pushed me in the locker. And by the time my mother came down, this is his aunt. By the time my mother come down, all she sees is him. She hears me way down in the North 40. So she comes in, she coming down the hallway. He done picked me up under my arm, and he's trying to force me in a locker like this. And she said, "Boy, if you don't get your hands off of that girl." And he turned around, "Auntie," she said, "I'm not your aunt in this school, but I'll whoop you like your aunt." And she got the wheeling on both of us in school. You know it's bad when your mama and your auntie is one person, and she come up to your junior high school. You're already self-conscious, stuff growing on your face, you don't know what it is, body parts turning colors, and dripping from places you didn't know it could be dripped from, and your hormones is going buck wild. Now you got to deal with your mama coming to the junior high school. Our mother people don't believe me much, but the people that know me and know me from when they were growing up with me, they can vouch for this. They can all vouch for this, especially my girlfriend. And the fellas didn't know. They all thought I was just really knock me. We had to put JFK 50-cent piece on our knee, on the inside of our knee, and we had to close our knees, and we were not allowed to open them until you came home. And when she was there, my aunt was there policing us. They better see an imprint on both sides of your knees, and it wasn't something that you could take the 50-cent piece out and then put it in like 20 minutes before you go home and then get your gate together. Oh no, they knew it. But we would come in and drop the 50-cent piece on, then it was cool. School had a dress code when we got to high school, and it was because we had even in junior high school, girls could not wear slacks. pants, whatever they call. We couldn't wear pants. You couldn't wear. The only time you could wear tennis shoes, and they called them gym shoes back then. You could only wear gym shoes in the gym. You couldn't put regular shoes on the parquet floor, whatever they did with it. And so my 50-cent piece, and I was good. I was good at it. Ooh, and I had her. She did not know anything about what I was doing. And I was telling the boys, soon they want to go from kissing you all on the neck and a light feel, now they want to be all on. I want you to meet my mother first. That's all you gotta do. That's the only criteria. If you want to be intimate like that with me, you better know what you're doing. I don't know how you gonna know what you're doing. You ain't but 15 years old. So have at it. Go meet my mother. She scared every guy I ever dated, ever thought I wanted to date. She ran every one of them off. Her and my brother. They would meet the dudes at the parking lot. I know you coming to see my sister. You got a new car. My sister don't hang with riffraff. Now you got to give me $5 to get past me, to get down the walkway. Dude, give him $5. He get down, maybe about 40 feet. My other brother standing there. Oh, dude, I know you coming to see my sister because you was talking with my brother. You got to give me $5 before you can go down, go get to the door. So every time a boyfriend came, they were going to be like $10. And back in the early 70s, $5. You could do a lot of that with $5. You can't even buy 2 tanks of gas with 2 gallons of gas for $5. Well, anyway, they would come and she ran every one of them off. And I said, well, so what happened? Your mama crazy? Good, honey, want to talk to you. Your mama crazy. I said, I told you everybody in my family was like, he said, but I ain't know. Dudes were afraid of my mother. The only guy I ever was involved with in any kind of way was when I got to college. And I met my future husband. And he was he's still the finest guy on the planet to me. If he wasn't fine, I mean, you could get a fat bald head, blind in one eye, can't see out the other one. You can get put on a nice piece of hair, get a good breast lift up here, get a good bra, dump her in a spank, put on a nice big dress where she look cuter, and you could take her home to mother. And so you get an ugly husband, an ugly boyfriend. And I'm not just talking physically. I'm talking physically and emotionally. They can be really ugly. I've met some of the finest guys on the planet who were completely self-conscious about their looks because they said, that's all girls see me. That's all they always say. Oh my God, you got beauty. He had these they looked turquoise eyes to me. He was a black guy. He was fair skinned, but he looked like he could have been like from the islands, like from Puerto Rico. Or he had that kind of vibe going on. And he did have the prettiest eyes at the time I had ever seen. And they were like turquoise. And you could look at them in a different light, then they would look blue. Then you could look at them in a different light, then they would look green. And so he was really self-conscious about himself, and he was tired of girls telling him how cute he was and how they wanted to do this, that, and the third with him. And I was like, so why you don't respond? He said, because I like the same thing you like, girl. You like men? He said, yeah, I like boys. I said, no, you don't like the same thing I like. I like men. Ain't a boy could do nothing for me. I need a man with a job. I need him to be a BMW, a black man working. He could have been pink with green dots. Who knows? And my husband, the guy who is my husband right now, we just celebrated our 50th year together. When they said it wasn't gonna last, they still waiting for him to leave me. Nonetheless, he thought, and to this day, he has always thought our family was we were just off the chain. And he was not frightened. He was not intimidated. I mean, first time I brought him home and I said, this is the guy that are we dating? He goes, yeah, you better not have you better not have somebody else looking at you like that. He introduced himself. He was very polite. And she said, well, what's your first name? And he told her what her first name, told him what her first name was, told her what his first name was. She said, so you got the same first name and last name? He said, no, I got the first name and the last name. He said, oh, so you got 2 last names. Now, who the hell would get a child 2 last names? I'm like, damn, she didn't just ragged on his parents right away. And I asked his mother and his father. So did you name him after John F. Kennedy? But he couldn't because he was 10 years old when John F. Kennedy was murdered. And she said, I just like the way it sounded. And I'm glad she named him. And his family, none of his family calls, they got a shortened version of his name. And so, and I knew. And so, and marriage and relationships, it take work. And all the time you don't be on the same page. You know, some days, I know he'd be looking at me like I could just, she gonna say, well, she gonna call me one too many. And that's when he told you, and he had to tell me that that's the last one I'm gonna be. And that's when I knew I better sit down, shut up, and wipe off my sweaty brow. And he would let me have fits and stuff, and I thought I was being emotionally degraded because he was not in tune with my feelings. And I was like, that sounds real stupid. You sound real stupid. I could not live with a guy, and I wouldn't want a guy to be with me and we not be trusted. You got, it's a lot of chicks, a lot of women say they don't trust their mate because they cheat before they'll cheat again. They don't trust their mate because she'll go out and spend up all the money on the credit cards buying clothes that she is never going to wear. Or whatever it is. This was really kind of petty of me. This was a long time ago. This is in my BK day before I met my husband. I fell in love and knew that was going to be it. Y'all want to hear about the story? I wrote it in a book called Listen Up, Girlfriends, Lessons on Life from the Queen of Advice. You know what? And there's a lot of young ladies out there that ought to get that book, Listen Up, Girlfriends, Lessons on Life from the Queen of Advice. That would be me. Because people kept saying, wait, what are you doing? Where's the magic dust that you have? People in college my husband they used to think he was magical because all he had to do was, look at me and just come on. Just come on, say goodnight to the people. Good night, see ya. And they would all go. And I'd be jumping off the cigarette machine. I was up high. I'd be jumping off the pool table or jumping off the speaker. I was into that at the time. I had a 4-foot vertical leap. And for those of you who know what that means, that's like a foot shorter than I am. And at one bound, I couldn't even get my leg up on the pole one time. Thought I was going to have to get a hip replacement. Yes, I did. And so, I knew it was going to be him. And I went to meet his parents. And for 5 years, we had been together. He wouldn't take me to meet his parents. I met his older brother. He was at the same college before he and I got there. And he went and told his parents, oh, Mom, Dad, I don't know what's wrong with him. And I don't know what he sees in that woman. And they were like, well, what woman? He is dating the loudest, wildest, foul-mouthed woman on the entire campus of The Ohio State University. And at the time, I think our enrollment was something like close to 50,000 people or more. You look at The Ohio State canvas now, and you can see where I left an indelible 2 marks because they built the towers and they built the Drake unit because I said, I can't get back to class. My last class is way up here and I got to, almost walk the whole yard to get to my dorm because it was all the way on the west side. I mean, we had a view of the Olentangy River. And nonetheless, I was like, oh my God. So I did not start a food fight. In my defense, there's people that still bring this up to. I was talking to one of the girls I went to college with, and we was just laughing and reminiscing. She said, girl, remember you started the food fight in the cafeteria? I said, I did not start that food. Is that what y'all been telling each other? I started the fight. I told you they would throw me under the bus. And you ever wonder where that came from? When I was a school bus driver, and one of my coworkers ran me over on the bus with the school bus, ran me over, hit me. And I bounced up and I tried to break my fall, and we had gravel on where our buses were parked. This cat hit me so hard, flipped me up in the air. I fell down on my butt. I sit on a butt pillow today. That's because I lost so much weight and my butt lost weight. And, I had no cushion on my butt. But nonetheless, I said, he done just ran over me, threw me under the bus. What the? And that's where, and I'm the one that started. You ain't my husband. You just my baby daddy. I didn't know y'all was going to take it that deliberate and make it that nasty. I didn't do that part. Sometimes I come up with really clever things. And sometimes they tell, don't you ever say that in public. Don't you ever tell another human being how crazy how crazy your mind is. It was just a thought. I can accept no. I can accept, okay, that's not a good idea. But most of my ideas, they can, bring fruit. But nonetheless, growing up, and she was talking about, I did not start the food fight. All I did, we had to go through the cafeteria line. I had my tray, and I got my plate, my utensil, and Ohio State has its own agricultural school. So they have their own husbandry programs. So we were getting our eggs and chickens and cows and pork. And, it was, I think 90% of it was grown there on the campus. Well, I had just got sick and tired of these people that's running the cafeteria, the people that's cooking, because the food was just disgustingly bland. And it was like they served us pork like at least 3 times a week. We rarely got, I don't think I ever had salmon when I was in college. I don't think so. So I'm in the line and I'm looking at people's food ahead of me. I said, God, jeez, please, pork chops again. Oh. And they didn't understand pork chops supposed to be cooked all the way through. They should not be pink on the inside. That's the stuff that could give you ptomaine, give you worms or cooties or whatever they said it would give you. And so the guy that was in front of me and the guy that was in back of me were friends. We were all friends. And so, and most of us in the line were friends. And I just was I was just at my wit's end. And I just took my tray and I just said, can't y'all serve us something else besides this half-cooked pork? Okay. My voice did carry a bit in the dining hall. I agree with that. And I still had my smoker's voice. And so my voice was like real heavy and raspy like this. Can't y'all serve us something else besides these half-cooked pork chop? And I did slam my tray down and my pork chop did fly off the plate. And because we didn't have glass plates. We had, I think it was made out of melamine or something like that. Almost plastic and almost glass. It popped up and it went up and it hit the guy in front of me on the head. He turns, I'm gonna tell you, they had pork chops, mashed potatoes, and peas and carrots. I ain't never gonna forget that meal. He turned around and just whacked me with a fingerful of mashed potatoes. So we him started laughing. And then all AT double hockeys broke loose. They went berserk in the dining room. They had to call the police, the campus police, because they couldn't get us up under control. They was throwing food every place. I jump up on the table, like, all right, y'all, calm down. They calling the police on it. Calm down. I ain't paying for this. Y'all better come. Somebody threw another pork chop at me, and it was on and cracking again. I said, this is not funny because I did not come up from a family of wasteful food. You don't waste no food. We came from the clean plate girls and boys. That's what we had to do. And they came here and a lot of us didn't get in trouble, but some of us did get in trouble, and it wasn't my fault. I had to tell me it wasn't my fault. And I said, I told you, I'm not good at lying because I forget it. And I'll be like, oh, look, I forget the stuff that is true. You're not even going to forget. I ain't going to remember a lot. And so when she was talking to me, we was laughing so hard. And her sister, everybody thought her younger sister was a student there because she was always with us. And she said, girl, I remember when you became Mother Love and you had, and she called out my son's name. And I said, I've been knowing this chick as long. Matter of fact, I've known her longer than I did my husband. And my husband 50 years, so she had to be 51 because we were babies. We were laughing. We had such a blast. I became a woman at The Ohio State University. I left a girl and I became a woman. Okay, yeah, I know I skipped over the ladyhood part, and I'm working on the lady parts. So I just want y'all to know that I love you. I want y'all to make sure that you follow me on social media. These are all my social media handles. I'm on Facebook at The Mother Love Show, X at Mother Love Show, YouTube at Mother Love Show, TikTok at The Mother Love Show, Instagram at Mother Love Show, and LinkedIn at the Mother Love Show. Or you could just give us a call sometime. See, my line was open. I forgot to give y'all the number to call, but I won't forget. Know that we love you, and remember this. No matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, it matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then.